The terror attacks in Brussels and now in Pakistan on Easter Sunday, forcing presidential candidates to lay out detailed plans for our national security.
We need protection. We need borders. We need on the southern border, we need the wall.
Listen, I'll tell you who's in over their head, and it's Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and John Kerry and the entire Obama administration.
We need to bring all the civilized people of the world together.
The Muslim troops have got to do the hard work. The United States should have special forces there.
To start policing the neighborhoods of Muslims? How are we going to do that?
NATO is obsolete. We're spending too much money on NATO.
If and when we use military force, we will use it to win, to defeat our enemies with overwhelming force, and then we'll get the heck out.
I am opposed to the United States getting involved in perpetual warfare in the Middle East.
The Arizona United States Senator John McCain joins us to go on the record. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Greta.
Senator, what do you think of Donald Trump's foreign policy?
Well, I don't understand it, so it's hard for me to think a lot about it. It seems to vary from day to day, the latest being that NATO is not important. NATO is probably the most important alliance historically than any in recent history because thanks to NATO, we won the Cold War, and NATO continues to be a bulwark that may be necessary in the future given Mr. Putin's behavior.
Well, he hates trade deals. He says that all the time. He hates the Iran deal. He says that's a bad deal. He doesn't like the open door. He wants to secure the border. Isn't that sort of, I mean, you know, a lot of members of the Republican Party hold those same views. They maybe use very different language.
Well, a lot of Americans are deeply concerned about further attacks on the United States of America, which Lindsey Graham and I found predictable and predicted, and there will be more attacks. The latest, we know that Raqqa is now a chemical weapons factory. We know that at least 400 have been dispatched by Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, to come to Europe and the United States of America. And by the way, all they need once they get to Europe and get a passport is to get on an airplane. They don't have to come across our southern border. All that certainly needs to be strengthened. But so he has struck a responsive chord in his concern about the security of the United States of America. And it is because of Barack Obama's failed foreign policy and now continuing to say that somehow we're making good progress as ISIS metastasizes throughout the region. Well, there's no perfect candidate for any one of us, I'm sure, at any given time. But given those concerns that you just stated, those foreign policy concerns or security concerns, you've got three choices in your party: Cruz, Trump, and Kasich. On those particular issues, who is the most solid? It's hard for me to make that judgment, Greta. I think that John Kasich has had a lot of experience on the issue, but all I can say is that we need a coherent strategy, which we don't have, and we need to call the smart people together like David Petraeus and Ryan Crocker and a number of other really respected people, Bob Gates, come up with a strategy and defeat ISIS. Otherwise, we're going to fight them here. But none of the people that you named is running. So for that coherent strategy, who has that coherent strategy now? Because now would be a really good time to tell the American people we're deep into this primary season and the GOP's down to 3. Well, I would hope that as part of the Republican platform that we would, which I'm sure I will play a role in, that we will lay out a strategy to defeat ISIS. And by the way, that will require some American involvement, boots on the ground, about 10,000, not 100,000, not 200,000, but about 10,000, because we will either fight them there or we will fight them here. And by the way, Palmyra was taken by guess who? The Syrians and Russians, not by anybody that we support. And you see the MASH note that Fidel Castro sent to Barack Obama after his visit to Cuba while he was tangoing while Brussels was in upheaval? Indeed, I did see the tango. Anyway, Senator, it's always nice to see you, sir. Thank you. You and I can tango together sometime, too. But, I'd like to try that. Thank you, sir.